Alright, journal entry today is around order blocks and order block study. So this past week we saw price make a run higher, and looking at the chart right now, it's obvious that it made a run higher, but for the journal entry, normally I want to use these as ways to remind and reinforce myself in the future. So price runs down, fills in this fair value gap almost completely. And in this market structure move, we have a run below an internal sell side liquidity. Price then reacts off of that fair value gap on the daily and makes some movement here. Now normally, studying order blocks, I like to see order blocks validated by both a fair value gap and a shift in market structure. So we do have a couple of areas where we see price will leave this fair value gap but not yet shift market structure, and the study here is to say, okay, well, do we really need these things to validate order blocks? So I went back to some of the core content, and we'll come back to this in a sec. And looking at month 4, reinforcing order blocks, ICT goes through several examples going from the higher time frame down, where he defines the order block and then starts reinforcing it from about the 17-minute mark in the month 4 video around order blocks. And in his monthly review, so on a time frame of a monthly, he walks through 2 order blocks that do not have, one doesn't have a shift in market structure, and neither one has a fair value gap. So this confirmation or validation of an order block gets a little bit deeper. So here he shows a monthly chart where price runs a sell side, gets to some level of support, next candle shifts bullish, and the last down close candle in this series acts as an order block, which then starts to propel price higher, going towards the relative equal highs. The next order block here, this one does have a market structure shift, no fair value gap, returns to it, and then acts again as support, launching price above that buy side liquidity. Then he has a weekly example where there is a down close candle, there is a fair value gap tucked right in here, there is a market structure shift, and then it comes back down. Same thing here, where there is a market structure shift, there is a fair value gap, which historically I've used as validating the order block. Price returns to it and then takes off. So this weekly example is the one that I've always held as the definitive validation method, but he does give examples on the monthly where neither one of those things exist. No fair value gap in this example, it holds. No market structure shift, it holds. Price doesn't close below the mean threshold. Similarly here, no fair value gap in the leg preceding it. It does have a market structure shift, it still holds, and then takes off. So I'm really using this journal entry to now say, okay, let's be mindful that order blocks do not have to have all of the things, the fair value gap and the market structure shift. It can behave that as an order block even if it doesn't have a market structure shift. So in this price action study, it's a combination of utilizing fair value gap levels here. So on this break of structure, this was at one point sought or looked at as an area of support or resistance, and that fair value gap then breaks. Price treats it as an inversion, it fails. Price then comes back into this daily order block, treats this fair value gap as a held fair value gap, and then price takes off. And what is going to make this the relevance of this is, given that I'm not trading a daily chart with a 50 handle stop, looking at the hourly, this starts to become useful when you're merging it with profiles. So on this week from Monday through Friday, we can see the 2 fair value gaps on the daily, the purple, and then that daily fair value gap wicks in right at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, which gives us a Wednesday low weekly profile. And that weekly profile Wednesday low suggests that price will continue to make new highs going through to Friday. So once price wicked into that daily fair value gap, that daily order block, those fair value gaps started to hold true, and it all kind of builds on top of each other, like reinforcing blocks, I guess. And so going from that daily order block, retesting the daily fair value gap, you can see how price was using that bearish fair value gap as some form of resistance, then breaks through it, wicks around, comes out to the TGIF retrace, wicks it, comes up to the expansion, closes above it, wicks it, and then it seems to be moving higher to this monthly level 4889.5. So reinforcing order blocks is something I want to just log into the journal entry in video format, and really starting to see that, you know, it's a lot deeper than just a market structure shift, fair value gap. It's not just that. There's a lot more to this, and it's even just laid out. It takes a lot of study to understand it all. All right, so that's it for this one.